can't figure out. Like I've got it's just it was. I can't figure out how she did it, but she was. I was doing exactly what I was told, and it was just always just one. But she was nailing it every time. But we did that, and then Ben and Tracy showed up, and we had a few drinks, and then I had in my mind that Willie D's opened at 9. Okay, it's New Year's Eve.
Right.
So Willie D's is kind of a weird place. I mean, it's a piano bar. So, it's a battling piano bar. If anyone's, I know, if you're from Little Rock, this area, you know Willie D's, I'm sure. But there's 2 of them on the River Market area. There's Willie D's and there's Ernie Biggs.
Oh, 2 dueling piano.
Two dueling piano bars. Okay, one is Willie D's, which is probably the more popular one, but Ernie Biggs is they get packed too.
Right.
So I was thinking, well, you got to get there when it opens because it's going to be New Year's Eve.
Right.
And you either have a table or you don't. There's going to be a line. Well, we got there at 8 o'clock and there was already a line piled out. And I was like, okay. So we look across the street and Ernie Biggs has got nobody there. So we walk over there, talk to the girl who's
like, what's the deal?
Yeah. Why? Well, that's exactly what Ben said. He goes, let me ask you a question. She said, what? He goes, they've got a line. You guys don't have a line. Why is that? And she said, I don't know. She said, all I know is by 10:30 or 11, we'll be packed.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. And I said, well, I'm looking. I said, well, let's go here. Yeah. Let's land a great table here.
Yeah.
So we went in there and we got the table by the street window. If you were a shopping store and you had a mannequin, this is where it would be.
Yeah.
So we landed that table and we got lit there and just heckled people outside the entire time. And we got pretty. Of course, when we go and do this, we always do it right. We get hotels. Like I said, we Uber it. We don't. There's no drinking and driving or shit like that.
Right.
And I'm not just saying that because people may be listening or whatever. I'm saying that because I think driving when you're is just stupid.
No, my brother and I did that for our mutual bachelor parties. We rented double suites that were.
Give me one of those glasses back there, man. I'm gonna get some ginger ale. Here, throat's getting a little dry. Oh, is that yours?
That's ice. Oh. That was yours. It's got a little water in it, but no, we just when I got married, my brother actually he got married before I did.
Yeah.
We rented a couple of rooms at a Radisson in Dallas, and Uber wasn't a thing back then.
No.
Yeah. But we had a big steak dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did our things, and then we ended up back at the hotel. I made everybody turn in their keys. We had the bathtub full of beer and liquor, and we had our poker chips, and we had the whole thing.
Yeah.
We had some games set up, and after everybody was in, we're like, nobody's leaving. Y'all crash here.
Fuck it, we're gonna do it here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we did, and it was really smart. And then he did the same thing for me. When I got married, and we were still in Dallas, so it was really, really great.
Well, we did. We typically would do that on, New Year's Eve and a St. Patty's Day. So every year we go up there on St. Patty's Day, which is also, by the way, my wife
and my birthday.
No, it's our anniversary.
Oh, okay.
We got married on St.
Patty's Day. Wow.
On purpose, man. We went to Vegas. No, I'm serious. We went to Vegas. We planned it, a year out. And we got married on purpose on St. Patty's Day.
Did you get married in one of the marriage chapels in Vegas?
Yeah.
Like the White Chapel?
Yeah, did the whole thing there.
The one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was the guy from The Hangover there?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, they all were. I'm surprised. That should be a thing. But but that's we went. So our anniversary is on St. Patty's Day. I said, that way we always get to party on St. Patty's Day, and I never forget our anniversary. There's no way I can forget an anniversary. It's on St. Patty's Day.
That's true. I can never remember our anniversary. All I know is that August is a very, very expensive month for me.
Oh.
I've got several kids that were born in August. My wife's birthday's in August. Our anniversary's in August.
Yeah.
It just kills me.
Yeah. Well, I try to space it out. So this is my year plan. This is how I enjoy my year so much. My birthday and New Year's Eve the same day.
Right.
Now, obviously, I didn't plan that, but let's just pretend I did. So I've got New Year's Eve. That starts my birthday, and New Year's Eve starts my year off. Okay, New Year's Day, and then I have basically 3 months until St. Patty's Day. Okay, then after St. Patty's Day, I have essentially 3 months, until summer and Shark Week.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? And that's my favorite thing about this. I love Shark Week, so I look forward to Shark Week. And after that, I got 3 months till Halloween.
Yeah.
And then I got 3 months till Christmas.
There you go.
And then bam, it all starts over again.
So you've got.
I'm sorry, not St. Patty's Day, my anniversary.
Exactly.
I get in trouble for that shit all the time.
Really?
It's not St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
It's our anniversary. She don't talk like that though. I got in trouble earlier for talking like her when she doesn't even talk like that. Whenever I do her fake voice, it sounds nothing like her. She was on the show last week.
See,
Did you see it?
I don't have a fake voice for my wife. I've got one for her sister, but I don't have one for her.
Sasha came on the show last week.
Oh, I missed it.
You got to watch it. She's really good.
I will.
She's funnier than me.
But I'm telling you.
I'm not funny, though.
I'm telling you, I've been sick. It's been ridiculous. And
Well,
I'm a homebody anyway, so I enjoy, as an academic, obviously, Christmas time for me.
Yeah.
I get like a month off.
Well, I didn't know.
And so I did almost nothing productive. Oh, but I did want, we don't have to talk about this now. But I do want to tell our viewers about my novel because I had to kind of go quiet.
No, I was going to ask you about it, but I didn't know when I should.
Yeah, but you can ask now.
Okay.
And I can tell now. And so
you got a new publisher, didn't you?
I did.
And it's the publisher that published the book Meg, Meg,
and
which is the movie,
and did the movie.
Okay, so, that's the big shark movie from this summer. So, and being a Shark Week guy and having a shark tattooed on me, it's a big deal to me. I wanted to
tell you the story about this because it was very interesting. And for those of you who are, maybe entering the publishing world, it's a changing game right now. And I'll tell you a few things about what I know about it. But, I went through Publishizer. I did my campaign.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of supporters. I got a publisher. They offered me a traditional deal. Let me explain what that is. A traditional deal is we're fronting you all of the upfront costs of producing your novel.
Yeah.
And you're going to get this traditional cut of what you sell.
Right.
Okay. So that's old school. That's what you're going for. You're going for either an agent who's going to get you that deal or a publisher who's going to give you that deal. So I got the second. I got a publisher that gave me that deal.
Okay.
Without an agent. And I shot this book for a year with over 100 agents. In fact, I didn't even find out about this place Publishizer until an agent rejected me, but said, "Hey, have you thought about going through Publishizer? Because we pick up a lot of books through them."
Okay.
So what happened was I went and I did a proposal with Publishizer, but I didn't finish it. I stopped at the end and didn't submit it. But apparently it was hanging on their site and they could see it. These guys, this is a year ago and say 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
October. A year ago October. Or a little bit more than that. Anyway, they emailed me out of the blue and said, "Hey, are you going to finish your proposal? Because we've read it and we think this thing is gangbusters." So I was like, okay. And immediately, like as soon as I finished it, they were like, "You are going live tomorrow. You're going to have a 30-day campaign and you're going to try to attract people to buy your novel, even though it's not published yet." So I ended up selling, can't remember, maybe 225 copies through them. But it was enough to get 56 publishers to bite, look, make offers. I got calls from all kinds of people. I got calls from shysters in New York and New Jersey who were like, "Yeah, we'll publish your novel. Just give me."
So hold on, let me back over a second. So this is an agent, and you went out
It's a crowdfunding source specifically for books.
It's kind of like a testing ground to see how.
Yeah,
and then
you make a video. You put your proposal out there. You tell them your synopsis of your book.
Yeah.
And
then publishers come to you.
And then people, like I used my own address book, for instance, and sent emails to people saying, "Hey, would you go to this website, check me out, and if you want to buy a copy for $20, buy one."
Yeah.
Well, I raised about $4,500 in 30 days, and that was enough to get 50 publishers to look at me because they're like, "This guy's got something that people want to read." That got me this traditional deal with the original publisher. But after I signed with them, okay, now I'm a newbie. I don't know anything about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I send them the manuscript. They said that they're gonna scrub it. They're gonna run it through an editor. But then I'm like, "Well, who's my editor?" And they won't tell me the name of the editor. They're like, "That's not how we work. We're not going to tell you who the editor is." I'm like,
"You don't even know. Why would you not know who your editor is?"
But I don't know what I'm doing.
This is the publisher that you don't have anymore, right?
This is one I fired.
Yeah. I like the way you put that. I fucking fired him.
I did.
I went rogue as fuck.
I
Just
did.
like the name of the show.
But it was a scary thing to
fire
do
that
because
motherfucker.
I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So like, I'm really glad that I had this experience. It was a great experience to have because you're kind of on your own out there.
Yeah.
And since then, I've had some great conversations with some people in the industry who are like, look, your experience is no different than 99.9% of people who do this. So don't kick yourself. This is the way it goes. So anyway, I'm not getting much feedback from them. And at a certain point, my email to, like, they assigned a person at the company as my guy.
Right.
An email I sent to them, and I'm not pestering them.
Yeah.
I sent a few early ones saying, hey, you have the manuscript. I haven't heard back from you. What are you doing? They said, as soon as we're done with it, we'll send it to you. We'll have recommended changes. You don't have to go with those changes. I'm like, cool. That's fine. The book is 534 pages long in the way that I had it formatted. Because I formatted it as a little pulp book. As a little, one of those little fat pulp books. They send it back to me in September.
Yeah.
And it's got 3 recommended changes. In 534 pages.
That's pretty good, right?
Well, if I was a vainglorious asshole, I would have been like, ooh, look how good I am. But I didn't. What I said is I said, oh my God.
It's a problem. This is a red
problem.
flag.
This is a red flag for me.
All right, you're like, these guys suck.
Because I wrote this book, there are certainly things in here. Like, for instance, Casey, I didn't know scrunchy is a trademarked. So I had misspelled it. I'd used that term in my novel, and I'd misspelled it. They didn't catch that. I caught that.
Okay, so you used a trademark term.
Right, and I didn't know it was trademarked, but I went back through, after they sent it back to me, I went back through that thing line by line.
But you sent this to them in digital first. I mean, this is how it goes, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they should have software programs that run through and check for the shit, right?
Anyway, I talked to
Gotcha.
I talked to a novelist,
Like
friend of mine.
plagiarizing and shit like that.
Right.
Software programs.
And I talked to a novelist friend of mine, and he said, look, anymore, and this is a guy that's published 9 books.
Yeah.
He said, anymore, it used to be the editors were real. And they would take your project and they would adopt it and they'd say, we think you need to change this, and it'd be like buttonhead, which is kind of what I was expecting. He said, anymore, the editors at these companies are really, really bright English majors that just got their degree 2 years ago. You're a better editor than they are. And I was like, okay. So what I did is I went back through my own novel line by line after they gave it back to me. And I found like 38 other things that I needed to change. Mistakes.
Yeah.
Just mistakes. Nothing major. I'm not talking about shifting chapters around or anything like that. But I found those. I sent them back. I sent my acknowledgments. I sent my everything.
Yeah.
And then I don't hear back from them. And then I sent an email to my point of service guy. That's what they called him. Don't hear back from him. I got an automated thing back from their website that says, your recent email query has created ticket number 232.
What?
You'll be hearing
like a
from
customer
somebody
service
from
guy?
Customer service soon. I'm like, no. So I emailed the publisher himself directly and said, this is not working. This is not working. I am not a customer.
Yeah.
You offered me a traditional deal. I'm not paying you money. You're obviously not equipped to handle a traditional deal. And they had told me, by the way, I was the first traditional deal that they offered. I'm the first one in this genre that they're doing. Thriller, supernatural, alternate history.
Yeah.
So I was excited about that because your vanity gets to you. When you've written a novel and somebody tells you, this is so good, we're actually branching out to a new genre
just to do it
because of you. Your vanity says, wow, I'm really good. So up to this point, I'm thinking, wow, okay, so, but as I asked them more questions, so I sent the publisher an email and I said, look, this isn't working. I'm not a customer. And now your system is treating me like a customer. I'm not paying you money.
Yeah.
He sent me back an email saying, you know what, maybe we should terminate the contract. We didn't promise you anything special. This is how we work. It's kind of bullshit. I was like, look, no, I don't want to.
Damn, they gave you attitude back. They were like, man, listen, fuck you.
It was weird.
Yeah.
And so I was like, look,
we didn't want any hassle with you.
I'm not trying to terminate. I don't know how your system works. Please just fill me in.
Yeah.
Didn't hear back from him. But then a couple days later, I hear from him. Okay, we'll give it another shot.
Damn, it's like this is like you're talking to an ex-girlfriend here.
Yeah,
she's
so,
like
so
breaking up with you.
So at this point, I'm like, look, I call a couple of people. They're like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're like, you need to do something different. And Casey, you got to understand, as a guy who's publishing his first novel, I have 225 pre-sold copies I have to deliver.
Yeah.
Which is not normal for the publishing world.
Well, I was going to ask you. I don't understand how that works. Okay,
so I'll tell you about that in a minute. But the thing is, so one of my friends is the creator of True Detective.
Right.
At HBO, and I called.
Before you go into that, hold on, give me 1 second here.
Sure. Everybody's out there is like, what? Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
(2019) Part 1.
And I'll be looking him up right now.
No, I'm not looking him up. I'm actually
no. Our listeners will be looking him up when they hear the story. But he's a really great guy, and I'd never told him about the novel, because I didn't want to, like, use that part of my, you know what I mean? Like, you write a novel, and then you call your friend who's a big, huge success in Hollywood and say, hey, buddy, can you show this to somebody? I didn't do that, and I wasn't going to do that.
Right.
Because I wanted it to be good on its own terms. Without any connections, but I did end up talking to him about it. And he, his attitude about it was like, dude, he's like, when you told me about this company, this thing, I looked them up. They're not real. This is not a good deal for you. Don't do this. Don't do this. And so I was like, damn, this sucks. I've been doing this for a year and a half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, it took me a year and a half, 2 years to write the novel. Now I've been chasing publishers for a year and a half.
Right.
This is really bad news for me, but I really valued his opinion.
Sure.
A lot. And so I was like, he told me I should carve out like 3 9,000 word short stories from the novel itself, get them published, get an agent, and do it the old-fashioned way, which is what he did with his first novel. And in the meantime, however...
Okay, back to where you were. I'm ready. Sorry.
Yeah. But we were live during that.
Yeah. Well, we're on this. I just had to cut this thing. I've got to put it in segments.
Anyway,
so we're in part 2.
In the meantime of talking with Nick,
yeah,
I had also talked to an agent out in San Francisco,
right,
who specializes in the way that the publishing business is changing. And she told me, she said, the traditional model is dead.
Yeah.
Traditional publishers are not going to do cash up front for novels anymore. They're putting in their contracts like payback clauses, saying if we go ahead and publish your novel and you don't sell at least 10,000 copies in the first 2 years, we're going to charge you back. And she said, so the future of publishing is hybrid, which she said basically the company that offered you the traditional deal is really a hybrid publisher, but they don't know what they're doing.
Let me ask you this real quick. I'm just pause.
So I was like, cool.
What is to stop? What do you think is to stop and maybe it is, I don't know, the book world, novels world from entering into what television is entering into, which is because now, I mean, you got YouTube and you got things like this, and now
actually, I think this is exactly where I wanted the conversation to go tonight, because you asked me to watch the movie Bright, which was the first film that was produced by Netflix.
Was it the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Or, well, I think
I knew it was a Netflix.
It was one of the first ones, if not the first. Okay?
Because we made fun of Bird Box last week, and
I tried to watch that and I fell asleep, but I figured it out while I was still kind of awake.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm gonna watch it.
Well,
we don't have to talk about it.
No, we're not gonna talk about it. Me and Sasha talked about it. We did a show last week where we talked about it. But because we had watched that and we got Netflix now, I listened to another podcast, which is Ross Patterson Revolution. They're a spinoff from Drinking Bros, and he's a Hollywood dude. He's he's a producer and he makes movies like that. But anyway, he was talking about Netflix, and he talks about how the media world's changing, how the movie's changing. Look, and he brought up Bright, and he said, "Listen, this movie was, he liked Bird Box. He said, I thought it was better than Bright." Well, I watched Bird Box and I watched Bright, and I thought Bright was way better than Bird Box. But
Well,
anyway,
the funny thing about Bright is that the critics hated it, and yet it made more money for Netflix and was the highest rated debut that they did.
yeah,
Period.
yeah.
They've already ordered a sequel.
Oh, really?
Will Smith has already signed. I looked it up.
Yeah, okay.
Will Smith has already signed up. They're doing another one. I watched it today, obviously.
Because I asked you to, right?
Yeah.
I wanted your intake on this because
And I was like, wow, there are a lot of things I want to talk about, but I thought about it in terms of the industry. And I thought about it in terms of my experience. Because, all right, so my buddy Nick wants me to carve out some short stories, get them published, get an agent, then get the agent to get me a deal with Simon Schuster. I asked Nick, I said, what was the deal you got on your first novel? He's like I got $50,000 up front for my first book. I said, how many did you sell? He said, I sold 50,000 over 8 years. All right, that's decent. That's not a bestseller. But he was nominated for multiple awards for this book. And by the way, the novel's called Galveston. I recommend it highly. It's coming out as a movie within the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Nick says the movie is terrible. Please disassociate him with the movie.
Is the movie also the same title? Is it Galveston?
It is, Galveston. Okay. But the book, guys, I recommend.
It's really good.
I read the book in one day.
Yes, the book's good. The movie sucks. How often we heard this?
That's what Nick said. Nick said, I haven't seen the movie. I may not see the movie, but Nick said, dude, he texted me. He's like, dude, please forget that it's my book that this movie was based on. So anyway, that's my pre-review of Galveston. But anyway,
we were talking about Bright, and
so
you were
Nick's
saying,
telling me go the traditional route. But I talked to this agent in San Francisco. She's like, look, Greg. She's like, hybrid is the way it's going to go. All right. So here I am with this publisher. I don't know what they tell me that my book is coming out on November 15th. I'm like, I go to their website. My book's not on their website. I'm like, so what's the cover look like? I haven't seen any galleys. I sent you back the manuscript a month ago. What's the advertising campaign? What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
And they won't answer me. So then I'm like, you know what? I got to fire these folks. Now, after I did the Publishizer campaign, one of the publishers that came at me was the publisher of the mag. And those guys came at me so hard, they were calling me on my cell phone, sending me their books. I have the Meg. I have like the last 8 novels they published in my house. They just sent them to my house. They're like, we want to show you what we do.
Right.
They were gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm like, these fuckers are real. So when it got to the point where I was ready to fire the first publisher, I still had that guy, Jim Alter's partner, in my phone.
Yeah.
Guy named Tim Schulte. He lives in Cabot, Arkansas. And I asked him, how is it you live in Cabot, Arkansas, and you're working with the guy that did the Meg? He's like, you know what? I'm married. I got 5 kids like you do.
Yeah.
I used to travel all over the country and put the books in the airport and Barnes and Noble. He said, I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? With the new technology, I don't need to be doing all that. I can do it from home. So I texted him. Didn't call him, but I texted him. Said, hey, dude, I'm having big second thoughts. I need your advice. And he had told me on the phone one time, Greg, even though when I told him that I had a traditional deal, he was the guy that told me, you have to take it.
Yeah.
If somebody's offered you a traditional deal, you have to take it. So I don't blame him, by the way.
Yeah, but you thought you did, but you didn't really. You had a fucking charlatan coming at you. Don't even know what the fuck you're doing.
I texted him and said, dude, I'm having second thoughts. Would you take a call from me? I didn't hear back from him, so I kind of was crestfallen.
Yeah.
Thinking, all right, well, I'm going to do what Nick told me that I should do. I'm going to pull it, go back through it, get some short stories out of it. But it's not really the kind of novel that you can do short stories from. So, and Nick writes for Netflix, and he does HBO, and he does True Detective, which is a whole season. And I really want to tell you the story about Nick's getting that sold to HBO because it's brilliant. But anyway, so I'm thinking about my novel, which is the first of a trilogy, and I'm like, it's not really a short storyable novel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got some good nuggets in it, but I don't know. So I texted Tim, didn't hear back from him. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to do this other thing. And then kind of out of the blue, I get an email from Tim that says, hey, dude, I texted you a couple of weeks ago. I didn't hear back from you. What's going on? So I was like, oh, I missed it. You know what I mean? I just missed it in my phone. So I said, will you take a call? He said, yeah, let me take a call. So I called him and I said, how you doing? He's like, man, the Meg is blown up. I just got to go to Hollywood to the red carpet deal. Mm-hmm. You know, we're all exhausted. He's like, what's up? And I was like, look, you guys really like my book. Here's what's going on with my publisher. While I'm on the phone with him, he gets online. And he's like, well, let me check some things because I'm a publisher and I can see some things that you can't see. Nope, this guy has not registered you with the Library of Congress. You should have done that already. You don't have an ISBN number. You're not listed on Bowker, which is an industry thing. He's like, he hasn't done anything. I'm like, well, is there...
Your book is not being published.
Exactly.
At least
and
not.
I'm like,
and he may be typing it up on put it in a binder.
So I'm like, Tim, look, you guys like my book. In fact, I reread the email that they sent me about my book, which was Gregory Boris has written one hell of a novel.
Yeah.
I said, would you be willing to consider taking me on?
Yeah.
He said, all right, let me think about it. He said, we're exhausted from this Meg stuff. You know, he's like, Simon and Schuster came after John Alter because the Meg was published 10 years ago. Then it got made into a movie, and now they're offering him, I don't know, $250,000 for the publishing right of the book, even though it came out
10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. And so he said, we're handling all that.
Because they probably don't. It's probably not still in circulation, or it probably wasn't.
Well, they redid it. They re-upped it, right? And so Tim was like, I was like, look, dude. I was like, when you guys made me your original offer, because you were my second pick. You were my first pick until I got the traditional offer. I would have gone with you if, if this other company hadn't said they were going to do what they weren't going to do.
Yeah.
And he said, okay. And I said, okay, so here's what's been going on in my life. I started the novel. My wife got cancer. Mm-hmm. I suspended the novel. My wife got through cancer. Before she was cured, I finished the novel because what kind of schmuck am I if I don't finish this novel if my wife can beat cancer?
Right.
I was like, she beat cancer.
Yeah.
I was like, but I don't have $4,500 to give you. Like, that was the original deal they had offered me. You give us $4,500, we'll put you everywhere.
Why do you have to pay them the...
It's the hybrid model because people are not risking. They're not risking, right? Yeah. They're making you be a partner. And so I was like, look.
You're going to invest in your own shit.
Exactly. I already did. I wrote the novel.
Yeah, but you're going to invest money in your own shit.
This is a changing model. I was like, dude, my wife is cured. Thank God. I was like, but I don't have $4,500 or whatever it was you offered me. And it wasn't $4,500, but that was stuck in my head. And he goes,
but I got a 1954.
Yeah. So I said, do you think you could craft for me? And before I could finish the sentence on the phone, he said something more like a traditional deal. I said, yeah. I said, I don't mind paying some of the upfront costs.
Yeah.
But I can't do it all at once.
Right.
And he said, my wife and I have been talking about this. I need to re-up an imprint that I used to do. Let me call you in a couple of weeks. And he called me back a couple of weeks. He said, you know what? Let's do it. It's like, we love your novel. We're going to do it. And so I'm doing it the hybrid way now. I lost about a year.
Yeah.
It pisses me off, but you know what? I also know so much more to tell my students who are maybe thinking about
wanting to do this thing.
That I can tell. In fact, I've had this week on Facebook, I had two former classmates from the University of Dallas message me saying, hey, could you give this person advice? Because we know you've been going through this. And I'm like, of course, I'd be happy to. So Tim and I.
Let me tell you what not to do when these motherfuckers offer you traditional deals.
And you know what? By the way, when I was having trouble with this publisher, I contacted Publishizer, the guys that had hooked me up with them, and I told them, and they were so totally immediately response to me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we cannot believe that we're hearing this. Let us reach out to them." They're suspended from our site.
Reach out to them with a fucking baseball bat.
Well, and look, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I'm willing to believe that the person that was behind this with my first deal sort of committed to something that they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
Like, that's the most charitable way for me to decide. And that's my.
And you
my thing.
you run into that, like it may not be the organization. I know when I got out of the Marine Corps, and I was before I was out of the Marine Corps. I'm sorry, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to work immediately. But when I was still in the Marine Corps and I was looking to go to work as a contractor, I knew people who knew people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had friends, like not friends, but
but you don't know stuff yourself.
Yeah. So I had, and they would, and I ran into this a lot. I ran into guys saying things like, "Hey man, when you get out, dude, I'm working for this company. You come work with me. I love you," and promising you the world like you think that they got an in, and you think when they offer you something that they can do it, and then as time goes on, you realize they don't have shit. They don't have the ability to make this. So sometimes you get people that commit to stuff that they just basically shouldn't be committing to. They don't,
No, and you know what? At the end of the day, this is what everybody needs to remember. If you have something that is good, that there's a market for, rely on yourself to figure out how to do it. And do it right. And
which is a message for the Roadway Podcast.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to stand the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Do it right. Do it your way. Make sure it is. And then if it's good, it's going to find a...
And make sure that you've cultivated the right kind of relationships for the thing that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be going into worlds that you have... Like right now, I have another project that's going on right now that I'll tell you guys about later. That, again, I freely admit up front, I have no idea how to do any of this, right?
Yeah.
But because I'm a PhD and I know how to research stuff...
Yeah.
I can find shit out.
I can find a path.
And so that's what I've done. And I haven't tried to jump into it. I've done it slowly.
Yeah.
And this thing is coming to fruition too. It's going to be very exciting for me in 2019, I think, because of this novel and because of this other thing.
Yeah.
Which is great. And frankly, by the way, the reason I did it is because I have been advising my students since the time I've been a professor that I want them all to become independent contractors in their own life. Like, that's what you should aspire to do.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be punching somebody else's clock. Yes, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to take orders. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to eat crow. You're going to have to make mistakes. You're going to have to do all that stuff. But the goal, ultimately, is for you not to have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I decided, now that I'm over 50, okay, you know what? Time to put your money where your mouth is. You have to do this stuff too. You have to write that novel. You have to write that second novel. You have to get it published. You have to actually do the stuff that you said is possible for the students that you actually teach. And so that's part of my animus on all of this. Plus, my wife cured herself of cancer, and so I'm like, well, I can't.
How can I? Yeah, I'm not.
How can I not?
How can I not man up and do my shit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, but back to so this whole experience with this new publishing thing, right? You're talking about Netflix.
Yeah. Well,
you're talking about the industry and how's it changing. Traditional publishing is not going to survive.
No, traditional print as a whole seems like media print's dead, dude.
No, I mean the one of my the American
magazines and newspapers.
They're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone.
They're fucking done.
It's all digital. And by the way, folks, I know that we're on a podcast right now and it's digital. This is very, very bad. So let me tell you why it's bad. First of all, you have photographs in albums that your grandmother and your mother and your aunts and your uncles love. Okay. That they want, that your family needs for future generations.
Yeah.
You need to print them and put them in photo albums because technology is going to change in the next 3 years to the extent that you will not have access to these photos in your phones.
What do you mean by that?
You won't be able to print them at Walgreens.
Why not?
Because that's the way the technology universe works. They upgrade themselves to force you to get the upgrade so that you can access your fucking photos.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, they're going to have technology at these places to print it, though, don't you think?
No.
Oh, you think they're completely getting rid of print altogether?
No, what I'm saying is that they're going to make it impossible for you to access it at a certain point. Look, everything about technology says this.
Yeah, but your stuff's in the cloud. That's what I'm saying. Like, so if I have to take pictures, it's in the cloud, and I can draw it no matter what device.
I promise you, the apps are going to change enough
But you don't think you're going to lose information?
Yes.
Well, they're going to lose money if they do that.
No, they're not. They're going to make money because you're going to pay it to keep your shit.
So you're not saying you're going to lose. You're saying they're going to charge you
Exactly.
to keep your own stuff. Well, that's a whole different. Okay, I thought you were saying it's going to be
I'm
like your
talking
picture
about
meetings.
the business model.
Yeah.
The business model is look,
They're going to charge you for your own stuff.
No,
this is right. I'm going to tell you why this is right. Okay, I ran into this. Okay,
Yeah.
I ran into this. So when I had a, don't laugh at me too hard if you're listening. I had a Microsoft phone, right? And I realized Microsoft maybe but the Microsoft phone was not. It's
how
not
long
really,
ago was this?
This is years ago, 6
Okay.
years, 5 years
All
ago, back when I was playing college
All right.
or in your class, But anyway, I had a Microsoft phone and I had bought a bunch of music
Right.
on their version of Google Play, their
Right.
version, Microsoft the store.
Right.
I had bought this music. I had downloaded this music. This music
It's
was my
yours.
music.
Yeah.
And then one day, I can't access my own damn music.
Yeah.
It just something to do with the song just went away,
Yeah.
and it was just we can't play this anymore, and I can't stream it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to stream it. I download. It's mine. Is it not on this device? And it wasn't.
No, it
nothing
never was.
It never was. It was as soon as I thought it was there. I thought it was an iPod.
Yeah.
I thought it was on my device. I had downloaded it physically on my hard drive in that phone.
Look.
and then it wasn't, and they wanted me to repurchase it.
Exactly. Years ago, I heard an NPR story about how libraries, in the future would be totally digital.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, this is a disaster. Because once libraries go completely digital, you are actually dependent upon an application
You don't have
to
knowledge
access
anymore.
information.
Yeah.
And you don't know how that application works.
Yeah.
This is why books are the most brilliant technology that's ever been invented.
Yeah.
They're small, they're portable, they're not susceptible to viruses,
Yeah.
and they carry a lot of information.
Well, I'll tell you something now. I
And I'm
heard,
telling you, when the zombie apocalypse comes,
you go to the library instead of
I'll be taking my shopping cart out of the parking lot from Walmart,
to
away from the fracas there,
Yeah.
and I'll be walking up to the library to steal books at UAM. Because it's the only thing that's going to get you through when the power goes out.
Well, they were saying that.
I mean,
They were-
Zuckerberg has his eggs in the basket that
Yeah.
relies upon a network, which is run by a few specialists.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracy theory guy. I'm just talking regular nuts and bolts things my dad taught me. He's like, you know what? The most basic knowledge is always about first principles, and it's always the most trustworthy stuff. Everything else is add-ons.
I'm looking this up, but I heard a thing on the radio the other day.
And that's what I tell my students. I'm like, when the zombie apocalypse comes and you Google zombie apocalypse and the freaking satellite network is out, you're going to be like, what do we do? I don't know. Google couldn't tell me. Which should crack you guys up.
It said that while people are relying on basically digital, basically print newspapers, magazines, all that is dead. It's all going digital. That it's not working the same way on the market with books. And they said that there's a serious decline in downloading books. There's a serious decline in the selling of Kindles and things like these. More people are still buying physical books.
No,
and they were asking why. They were saying, this is weird. They don't want to buy a physical newspaper. They don't want to buy a magazine. But
they do want to buy books.
But they want to go to Barnes and Noble and they want to own a physical book. And the Kindles they're selling less every year.
They flattened out. Yeah.
The downloads for books. Now audiobooks are different. People are still buying audiobooks.
No, because that technology answers a market need, which is very, very situationally specific.
Yeah.
And so, no, you're not listening to an audiobook in your bed at night before you go to sleep, but you are listening to it in your car.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or when you work out at Matt's. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.